So how many of you have put off sharpening your knives for far too long? I am guilty of that. I have had a full set of knives, not an expensive set of knives. They were from Walmart, but I have put off sharpening them for probably 5 years. And even though I struggle to cut things, I still didn't buy a sharpener. Well, I picked this up. This is a tri-stone from Wüsthof. I think it's German. I don't know if I'm even saying that right. This is considered a tri-stone. This has 3 different coarse grit on it. You can get some that are just 2, so it's a top and a bottom with different coarse. This one goes from what they're calling coarse to medium to a fine grit. So without doing a bunch of explaining and not show you anything, I'd rather just show you and explain it while I do it. You'll get the picture. It's simple. Let's get started. First thing you need to do, and I found this to be the easiest way, the instructions want you to soak this entire stone for about 10 minutes in water so that it's absorbed into the stone. By putting it in this pitcher, if you don't have one of these, you might want to get one. By doing it this way, I can essentially get all 3 sides all at once instead of having something flat where you're trying to flip it and whatnot. That's too much. So once 10 minutes has passed, we'll get right into it. Well, I would also recommend getting yourself some paper towels, and you'll see why. As I put this block on here and I'm sharpening the knife, if I didn't have this, it's going to want to scoot away from me if you're pushing too much. So that's why this paper towel will help keep that in place. And then I have another one here to help wipe the blade off as we're doing this, and I'll show you why. So this is basically ready. I'll just move that out of the way. Here's what I would recommend. You want to be stable, and they say to have about 10 to 15 degree angle from the bottom of this stone to the back of your blade. So about like this. Now, it doesn't have to be exactly perfect, but you want to be as consistent as possible. Now I'm right-handed, so I'm a little more stable starting out this way. The trick is to, based on the length of the knife, you want to start here, and as you get to the end of the stone, you want to make a full pass across that blade. So something about like this. You're just trying to get even passes, make it as stable as possible. See, I put too much pressure and it scooted away. You will get better at this the more you practice. I'll do 10 total passes. I think that was about 10. Now, something you'll see here is the buildup of that stone coming off, all that grit. You're going to want to wipe that down, especially when you're going to the next grit level, because you don't want that to pile up and get on that blade and get in the way of your sharpening. So we'll flip it over, do this same procedure. Pushing down too much, I guess. It'll take a little bit of working with the knife. You don't want to rock this blade so that you're gouging one side or the other. You want to try and make this as flat as possible when it comes to relation of the stone and the blade itself, so that you're getting good contact. Now, for the video, I'm not going to worry about the medium. I'm just going to get over to the fine. You can hear a difference in the stone. Okay, I should be able to cut a hole in time. I'll just do the simple test of dragging this backwards on my nail. See how we are. Now, let's see just how simple this cuts. Yeah, I mean, I know I didn't exactly have a before cut, but I can tell just by, times past trying to cut through stuff, that is easier. I'm not having to like put a bunch of pressure on it and just kind of mash through the lemon. That seemed to have worked out pretty good. Now what I have here, I really enjoy this knife. It's nice quality. This is Dell Strong, their Gladiator series. This is my brisket knife. Ain't that fancy? Now, obviously I have a lot more blade to get across this stone, so it may take a little bit of practice, but I want to see, just, it has some resistance. It does glide a little bit. So I'm going to do 10 both sides, flip it over. Was that 10? Wipe off the grit, do the other side. This really takes some focus. Okay, you can see how much is actually building up whenever I wipe this blade off. When it comes to that coarse stone, you really will remove a lot of the grit off of it. All right, so I'm going to flip over to the fine grit. We'll do my passes, and then we'll give it a shot. Let's see. I'll just take this lemon, flip it over, and try to get it in this camera over here so you can see a little better. Oh yeah, I didn't have to put much pressure at all. So on the last brisket that I had finished, I'm not sure if I had it on video, but I had it out in front of me and I started cutting through it, and I had this blade, and every time I would start making a cut, the bark and everything was just kind of collapsing because I was having to put too much pressure, and it was just folding over, and they weren't pretty looking brisket cuts. Quite embarrassing, and especially after you put so many hours into cooking a brisket, you want it to come out beautiful. So if your brisket knife isn't sharp, I mean, what are you doing? Well, guys, I hope you found this informative. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. If anything, you have seen at least one way to sharpen a knife. Check it out. Give this a buy. Go sharpen your knives. I'm Todd with Lone Star Smoke. I'll see you next time.